guys, welcome to a brand new episode of the Fit Women's Weekly podcast. If you are somebody that is continuously telling yourself, I need accountability, I need more self-discipline, I need to be more motivated to hit my goals, then buckle up because I'm going to share with you the secrets to becoming a more disciplined person. And the reason that this is on my mind right now is because I'm in the middle of a discipline challenge with my husband. Every couple of months, or I'd say a couple of times per year, we will purposely give ourselves some sort of 30 to 60 day challenge. Not necessarily because I want to see these amazing results with my body, but more so we kind of find ourselves letting go of our discipline, kind of letting our motivation go towards the sideline. Do these discipline challenges to kind of bring ourselves back to center and remind ourselves we can do hard things. At the beginning of the year, we did a 30-day carnivore challenge. And again, we also do these not to see how our bodies change, but for the discipline purpose to help build discipline, and two, just to see how our body reacts when we change certain things in our life. We have gone 30 days with no alcohol at another time. And then this month, for me personally, I am doing a 30-day no sourdough challenge, which I know sounds crazy. A lot of my friends are like, why are you giving up something that's actually good for you? And it's simply the fact of practicing self-discipline, because that will then roll over to other areas of my life. But I'm also doing it because I'm supporting my husband. So my husband is somebody who drinks a little bit more than I do for sure. He gets into the habit where at the end of the day, it's been a stressful day, he will go and pick up a bottle of wine and have a couple of glasses. And then after a while, he just realizes I'm waking up sluggish. This is becoming like a daily habit where I'm craving a glass of wine, and it's becoming a actual habit, where you're just expecting it when you get home. So that's when he'll kind of say, you know what, I need to pull myself away from it and I need to take this out because I know that this isn't a lifestyle that I should be leading. I am personally not a big drinker at all. So at first when he said this, I was like, yeah, I'll do it with you, because if he's not drinking, I am not going to drink. I'm not the type of person that will go buy a bottle of wine for myself on a Friday night. If it's not in the house, I'm not going to do it. Or even if it is in the house, I won't do it by myself. That's just how my mentality is. So at first I was all on board and he was like, cool. And then after a couple of days, Dan looked at me and was like, you know what? This isn't a challenge for you. I think that if you're going to do this, do something that will challenge you. And as many of you know, if you follow me on Instagram or any form of social media, over the past couple of months, I've really gotten into sourdough making. I love the process of making it. I love the ritual part of it. I love the pride in being like, oh my gosh, I'm putting together like 3 ingredients and this beautiful loaf comes out. And also the creativity that goes into making different loaves. I actually just made a lemon poppy seed loaf. But anyways, and that's also become part of my diet every single day. I look forward to a piece of sourdough. So just in order to build that discipline and give myself a challenge, because I've got about 3 different types of loaves in my fridge right now, I decided that I would give up sourdough bread for the month. And here's the thing that I love about discipline challenges is it proves to you that you are capable of doing hard things, whether that is small or big. And we're going to talk about that in this short little episode today. So first off, what actually is self-discipline? Well, according to the good old Dr. Google, it is the ability to control one's feelings and overcome one's weaknesses. The ability to pursue what one thinks is right despite temptations to abandon it. So basically, I'm going to be tempted with sourdough, but I'm going to abandon it. And my husband is giving up alcohol for the month. I've also got a couple of friends and clients with Fit Women's Weekly who are going to join us on this, or not going to join us. They are joining us. We are 9 days into this challenge right now. And a lot of people are giving up sugar, giving up alcohol, and some people are adding. So you don't always have to take away something for some sort of discipline challenge. You can also add things in, drink more water, get more steps in, exercise consistently. So let's quickly talk about why I think that they are important, right? Despite things like 75 hard, I'm actually not a big fan of something like that. And we'll talk about that in a second. I am a big fan, obviously, of these kind of challenges, or I wouldn't do it as often as I do. 1, it gives yourself a reset. 2, it helps you realize that you are stronger than you know. 3, it helps if you are able to stick to it, to give yourself a little bit of grace. And 4, it helps you move forward knowing, hey, I did that, so I can do this moving forward, or helps you balance out life a little bit more. So if you are somebody that is wanting to just kind of take control of your life and to realize that you have the discipline to be able to do that, I think that that's really important, that everybody should. But first, obviously, choose what kind of discipline challenge you want to do. There's so many different types. A couple of good ones when it comes to the fitness and health space is waking up early. Waking up at 5 a.m. is a discipline. I have people all the time that are like, man, I wish I could get my workouts in. I just don't have the time of day. Well, if they would set their alarm for an hour earlier, you could. But it's so easy because they're in the habit of waking up at, let's say, 7 a.m. And they'll say, I am just not a morning person. I have set the alarm for 5 a.m. and I just can't do it. That is your mind telling you you can't, but in reality, you might actually be able to do it. It's something that's consider like hard in your life that, or not necessarily hard in your life, but something that is in your life consistently that would be difficult for you to take out, that's not going to hurt you if you take it out. So once you do that, then it is time to actually start building your discipline and working on it. What are the secrets to actually make that happen? There are actually 7 tips that I'm going to offer you in order to build your self-discipline. Number 1, know your weaknesses and have a growth, not fixed mindset. This is so important to have. Going back to how I was talking about how some people say they just can't wake up in the morning. That is a fixed mindset. In your mind, that is you telling yourself you cannot change. Whereas if you recognize the weaknesses that you have, for example, Dan with his wine, he has the ability to have a growth mindset and say, right now, this is where I am, but I'm acknowledging my weakness and I want to change. So having a growth mindset means that you're open to this idea of learning more and changing the actions that you hold right now. You are not stuck. People are very pliable. You can change who you are from one day to the next, but it does take some practice and you have to be open to the idea. People with a fixed mindset say that this is who I am and this is who I always will be. That is not the way to be the best human that you can be. You got to let go of that idea. No one should be stuck in this fixed mindset. Or if you, for example, going back, and this is actually a fantastic book as well, and I think it's called Fixed Mindset. I don't remember, but everybody should read it, and I'll make sure to tag it in the show notes, where it's kind of people that grow up being like, oh, I'm not good at math, right? Well, if you continuously say you're not good at math, you're never going to be good at math. Whereas if you say, I'm not good at math, but I'm going to get a tutor, I'm going to start studying 10 minutes each day, suddenly you become better at math, right? You're getting rid of this idea that you're stuck in this position. And the same thing happens with anything as you get older. If you're somebody that's always suffering and saying, I don't have self-discipline, then you're going to go through life thinking that you don't have self-discipline. But if you're like, I don't have self-discipline, however, I want to, so I'm going to do a 30-day self-discipline challenge and stick it out, then guess what? You're building that muscle and changing it so that all of a sudden, after 30 days, you're going to have a little bit of self-discipline. Now, it's something that you're continuously going to have to work on. It doesn't come naturally from the get-go, but it can with time. So know what your weaknesses are, know what it is that you want to work on, and then open yourself up to having a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. Tip number 2 is remove your temptations. Why make things harder on yourself than they need to be? And I think we purposely do this sometimes to prove to ourselves that we can handle temptation, but especially at the start of things, why? Why do you want to do that? If you are trying to give up alcohol, for example, why have a bottle of chilled Chardonnay sitting in your fridge? Get rid of it, give it to somebody, put it someplace else in a wine. Maybe you have like a wine rack somewhere in your house, but don't have it where it's so accessible to you every single day. Yes, for some people, you have it in your head of like, but by me seeing it every day and me saying no, that gives me more power. Okay, well, it does that, but it makes it so much harder on yourself than it actually needs to be. Take those temptations and toss them away. If you work out in your bedroom, for example, right now, and you're trying to work out consistently, but all you're doing is seeing your bed, what is that telling your mind? Your bedroom is made for relaxation and sleeping. So if you're trying to build and create a workout habit, but you're working out and you're looking at your bed the whole time, you might be like, oh, this sucks. So take your weights, make some space somewhere else in your house, maybe even get outside and create a space that energizes you versus a space that's naturally supposed to help bring you down into a relaxation mode. Does that make sense? And then the last example is if you are trying to give up sugar for 30 days, then why do you have a pantry full of sweet treats? Even if it's your kids in your house, it's 30 days. Say, hey guys, we're gonna do this together. Help support me, and we're all gonna feel better at the long run. And then bring in some healthier options. Bring in the berries and the fruit and things like that. If that is just not possible, then at least put those sweet treats somewhere where you're not going every day. Make it a designated drawer somewhere or another cabinet that is kind of out of sight, out of mind for you, but where it's still accessible to other people. Don't try to prove to yourself that you're stronger than you are, especially at the beginning. Keep things simple. Tip number 3, set your goals. This is where I want you to actually create your discipline challenge. I'm going to do 30 days of X. I'm going to go 60 days of Y. And here's what I want you to realize is that this is also the reminder to have some grace with yourself. This is why I don't like things like 75 hard, because with 75 hard, if you don't know what that is, it's a 75-day challenge where you're not supposed to eat sugar. I think you work out 2 times a day. You have to read at least 10 pages of a book. You have to take a picture of yourself every single day. That's more for them than you, I think, because they want the testimonial images at the end. You have to drink a gallon of water every single day. That is a lot. And if you mess up on any of those things and don't complete it, then let's say you've gone 50 of the 75 days, you have to start back over at day 1. And what does that do? That makes people go, oh, see, I knew I couldn't do it, going back to that fixed mindset. So I'm just going to give up. Maybe I'll try this again later, but I failed. Whereas if you just realize that you're human and you're probably going to fall off the bandwagon at some point during your challenge, even in the slightest way, today is a new day, tomorrow is a new day, the next hour is a new hour. Start back. Don't give up on yourself. Just pick up where you left off and keep going, and realize that that is most likely going to happen. You're going to lose motivation, and the self-discipline muscle is going to weaken from time to time, especially the farther along you get through the challenge. I know in our head, we think that as we go through it, it's going to get easier, when in reality, it's actually the opposite, especially in the middle. When you're starting a new challenge, you're like, yes, I can do this. I'm so motivated. You're excited, right? You want to see how you're going to feel. And then with time, after about week 2 or week 3, that's when that newness wears off and the motivation starts to wax and wane. And that's where you're 100% relying on your self-discipline to keep yourself going. And it's really easy to say, if I mess up, then I fail. It's also really easy to say, wow, I've made it 20 of the 30 days. That's good enough. What's good enough is actually following through. And this also goes to show that things like this is an example of type 2 fun, where during the actual challenge, you're like, this kind of sucks. This is boring. I'm not living I'm not doing the normal fun things that I normally do. Like, let's admit it, cookies and cake, if that's what you're trying to give up, those are really delicious things. However, at the end of it, you get to say, boom, I did it. And you feel proud of yourself. You feel happy of yourself. And that's where the type 2 fun comes in. So set specific challenges for yourself and realize that you're not going to be perfect, but don't let your imperfections stop you from carrying on. And if you want to, you can absolutely add to it. So let's say if you do mess up one day, if just in your mind it makes you feel better that once you get to 30 days to go for 31 days because that one mess up, that's fine. You get to create the rules. No one's going to knock at your door and say, knock, 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 you failed. So take that pressure away and do what makes you feel proud of yourself. Number 4, have some sort of accountability tracking. Whenever I'm doing some sort of challenge like this, I either keep it in some sort of notebook where I can write down day 1, day 2, day 3, and something like I actually like to use the graph paper of a moleskin because I can write out 30 days and then I can create my own little boxes. And then each day that I'm successful, you just kind of color in that box. And so it's like a checklist where it's day 1, done, day 2, done, day 3, done, day 4. Oh, I messed up, day 5, done, day 6. And so you get to see these streaks and it's almost like a countdown. Other things that I've done as well is I've gotten sticky notes and I've done the numbers in reverse. So I'll start with day 30 and I'll write 29, 28. And so each day I just remove that top piece of paper and it acts like a countdown to being done with the challenge. So that's another way to help hold me accountable. Another way is to have some sort of accountability partner. Find a friend, just like I am with Dan. He's giving up alcohol. I'm giving up my sourdough. We're giving up 2 very different things, but we're doing it together so that we can hold each other accountable. Last night, he actually got a raise at work and got a little bit of a bonus, so he wanted to celebrate. And of course, the first thing was like, we need champagne. And it was like, no, let's not do it that way. But what is something still fun that we can acknowledge it that doesn't revolve around alcohol? So I went to the grocery store and I picked us up some kombuchas and I poured them into wine glasses and that's what we had. But we had that teamwork going on to help where had he been by himself, it would have been very, very easy to just be like, it's just one night, I'm going to do it this way. So have some sort of accountability and some sort of way to track your progress. It's going to help hold you accountable throughout the entire process. Number 5, have a plan for when the initial challenge is actually over. Another reason that I don't like things like 75 hard is because when the 75-day challenge is over, or something like Whole 30, which I actually do like Whole 30 if you don't go about it like this, is that when it's over, you celebrate and then you're like, yes, I did 75 days of all these crazy things, or 30 days of all of this amazing nutrition stuff. Let's go celebrate. And then you celebrate with all the vices that you just tried to give up and you go right back into your old habits. And then what's the point of everything? So have some sort of plan for once your challenge is over. For Dan, for example, once he's finished with 30 days of completely no alcohol, he plans on just going to have wine on Fridays and Saturdays. I don't have a plan with sourdough. I feel like I have a pretty basic balance of it. I'm not eating a loaf of bread every single day. A loaf of bread generally takes me about 2 weeks to eat. It's just a little slice here and there. But had it been something that I was overindulging in, then yes, I would have some sort of plan of like, okay, I'm eating an entire loaf a day. Let's do it where I have just, 4 ounces of like a weighed out slice, something to help keep me balanced with it. If you are exercising every single day, that's not something that I would condone and something that I would say that you should be doing. But after your 30-day challenge, let's say, okay, I'm going to start working out 3 days a week. And that's what I want to keep going forward. I want to create balance. So the self-discipline of doing these like really hard, intense challenges is just helping you to set up for a more balanced way when that challenge is over. So go ahead and plan that out. And then next one is make your challenges progression based. Rome wasn't built in a day. So if, for example, you're having some sort of challenge where it's about 10,000 steps, you want to do 10,000 steps a day, but right now you're only getting 2,000 steps per day. Adding 8,000 steps overnight, that's a lot. It's a time commitment. It's a lot on your body. And that means it's more likely that you're not going to be able to follow through with that. So set out a plan where maybe the first week you do 4,000 steps per day. That's already doubling what you're doing. That's already a huge improvement. And then so you're going to do 4,000 steps the next day or the first week, and then you're going to do 6,000 steps the second week, and then 8,000 steps the third week, and then your fourth week you're going to get to 10,000 steps. And then once you get to 10,000 steps, maybe then you'll go ahead and create a new plan for the following month, where then you'll get 10,000 steps a day for the entire month and see how long you can carry that on as a streak, or at least doing it maybe 5 days a week. Again, you get to create the rules. And I feel like when we realize that you're the rule maker, that puts so much power in your own hands and makes you feel a lot stronger and a lot more disciplined. So break it up if you need to. The same thing can happen with if you're trying to drink more water. You don't have to drink a gallon of water starting tomorrow. You can do 3 liters, 2 liters this week, 3 liters the following week, 4 liters the next week, build up to it. Same thing with exercise. If you're not exercising any, then you have no right in thinking that you should start exercising 6 days a week starting tomorrow. Start exercising 3 days a week and build up to it slow. It's also a lot more healthy and a lot healthier of a mindset. And then last but not least, I had to look at my notes. You're covering my notes, is follow through. If you have made yourself this promise that you recognize that you need to make a change, then stop letting your excuses become stronger than your why. Don't let your brain tell you you can't do something. You have your plan, you have it laid out in front of you, you have some way of tracking it, or you have an accountability partner. Maybe you have a coach, which is awesome. If you want some online training help, if it's fitness or nutrition related, reach out to me. I have that covered. I can help you with that. But follow through with what it is that you want to accomplish, because the longer you say, I want to do this, and then you only put it out there for 2 to 3 days, the more you start putting yourself in this fixed mindset of thinking, I can't do this. Once you set your plan, once you have it laid out, go ahead and follow through with it. Don't make yourself feel weaker than you need to. Let's help build yourself up and make yourself feel stronger. That's what these discipline challenges are all about, to prove to yourself that you're capable of more than you give yourself credit for. Does that sound good? So follow through with me. I'm going to be tracking a little bit more of this now that I've talked about it here on the Fit Women's Weekly podcast. I'll share more about our discipline challenges over on Instagram. I'll make sure to put everything down in the show notes so that you can keep up with it. And if you have any questions, I'd love to hear. And if you are going to give yourself some sort of challenge, what is it? And if you have a question about that challenge, if you're like, I want to do this, but I'm not sure how to lay it out, feel free to leave it down if you're watching this on YouTube, down in the notes. I'll give you some thoughts, or feel free to reach out to me, Kindal at fitwomensweekly.com. Shoot your questions to me. Lay out what it is that you want to accomplish. I'll give you all of my thoughts so that you can be as successful as possible. And again, if you need an accountability partner, if you need a coach to help you get through this, reach out. We can chit chat together and see what it is that we can do to work together to make you hit your goals and feel like you are a disciplined queen. Yes? Yes. And then last but not least, do me a favor, subscribe to the podcast, no matter whether you're watching this on YouTube or listening to it over on your favorite platform. It really does make a huge difference in letting other people become part of our fit family. So thanks for listening, you guys. I will talk to you soon. Bye.